One of the fun parts, David, about shopping for a classic car is doing your research. I mean, this should be a lot of fun. It's like collecting anything else. You want to know the price range of a vehicle you can afford. You want to know if that car is, quote, the real deal. I mean, it hasn't been phonied out. I'll give you an example. This is my 1966 Corvette, and Corvettes are obviously very popular cars. And a thing that people look for is what they call matching numbers. Now, what matching numbers means is that the serial number on the car matches the serial number on the engine. Let me show you how to find that. Now, on some cars, it's more difficult to see than others, but on the Corvette, thank you, it's right on the front of the cylinder head, right over here. I'll get you a close-up of this, where they have actually at the factory when they built these, they stamped the number of the VIN number of the car onto the block.
So it is the same thing.
Why is that important? That's right, because if you're buying a collectible anything, you want to know that it's as close to factory condition as possible by having the number stamped on the block, which then corresponds. Get down here on your hands and knees, and I'll show you underneath the glove box. Get down there and look. All the way up under there is going to be a silver plate.
Oh, right.
You see a silver plate?
Yep. 19437. Yeah, I see it right
That's
there.
right. And so those serial numbers, if this is a correct numbers matching car, you then write those down. Then you go up to the cylinder head. You may have to take a pencil and a piece of paper and just kind of outline it on a piece of paper so you can see it. And that should give you a good indication. But is that foolproof? No, it's not. So unscrupulous sellers are what they call restamping blocks. They'll take, maybe it's a 427, maybe it's from a 66, but not from this 66, and they'll actually take it to a machine shop and grind off those numbers and restamp it with numbers that look like it's supposed to be correct.
So how can you tell whether that's been done?
Great question. How do you tell? Is you get the Corvette fax books. You can find those online. It's a good idea of any car that you're going to buy a number of fax books on it, and they will show you what a true matching numbers serial number looks like in terms of the font that they actually use, as well as the spacing. And sometimes the letters are a little bit off and crooked on a real car, whereas on a reproduction or a phony car, let's say they're a little too perfect. Yeah. Like with a lot of antiques, you can tell if an antique, maybe a piece of furniture, has been restored because it's over-restored. It looks a little too good.
Okay, interesting.
Now let me tell you a little bit about the value when you're talking about a car like this. 1966 Corvette 427 with a 450 horse motor, matching numbers, side pipes, and knockoff wheels. This car is around the $90,000 range. But if it did not have a matching numbers engine, let's say everything was exactly the same and looked just like this, but the numbers aren't matching numbers, you're probably talking $20,000 to $30,000 less.
Wow.
So the question to ask yourself is originality important? Does it matter that extra $30,000, or let's say 33% to me, to have a car matching numbers? Or am I happy with one that, hey, it's got a 427, it looks right, it drives just the same.
It's enough.
Can I save the money?
So, Van, let me ask you about aftermarket products. If you have the original engine, but you have aftermarket parts, does that affect the value?
Having aftermarket parts on your original engine are going to affect the value to a collector. Now, there's a different level of car called a resto mod, which is restored, modified. That's okay. Put the headers on, put the different carburetor, put the chrome valve covers. It's not going to bother those guys. A lot of people actually even retrofit air conditioning to these older cars. It doesn't affect it as long as you're selling it to a resto mod buyer, but you're going to have less of a chance of selling it to a true collector.
Okay, so if that had if this had chrome covers, a real true collector will devalue that.
I would take those off and put the orange valve covers back on.
Got it.
And again, on Corvettes, which was one of the first cars to really do numbers on a lot of things, the carburetor's got a serial number, the distributor's got a serial number. Even things like the water pump have serial numbers for date codes. And to the true collector, they're almost going to care less about how this car drives and how all the numbers match up. Now, to me, I'm half a collector and half a driver. I love cars that I can go out and enjoy. And the fact that this has a matching numbers motor is great. But you know what? The fact that it just rips going down the road is really the most important thing.
Great. Thank you for showing us this.